welcome back.
Welcome back. Karan is back from Japan. I am back from nowhere. I've been here all along. How you been, Karan? How's it going?
It's been going great, especially with the kind of movies that I've been watching, even in theaters or outside of it. So, of course, we're going to talk about those movies, but in terms of just really watching great films and reading great books, it's been an awesome time. It's never been better.
Oh, nice. That's good to hear. Same for me, I would say. Although my frequency of consuming content would have gotten a little down, but
Mm-hmm.
I've picked up a little on reading, both fiction and non-fiction. I'm reading a little more of fiction these days, which is new for me. But yeah, whenever I watch a movie or a new show, it's been a good time, an interesting time. And yeah, been very like healthily active on Letterboxd. Like it's
Healthily
healthy
active.
for me.
What
Yeah.
is the healthy meter? How many movies
Like
are
if I watch something that stays with me, I'll like put a review, like I'll rate it, or like I'll go watch like read other people's reviews. So yeah,
do
that's been nice.
do you believe in rating movies?
Sometimes yeah.
Sometimes.
It gives a quantitative aspect to how much you like neutral your emotion, I would say.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Where this question is coming from is because a lot of film critics of late have completely removed ratings from their reviews. Primarily for two things. One,
Mm-hmm.
they believe that no art can be quantified in a certain way. Like it's not. I think Shah Rukh Khan had said this at the film critic forum.
We filmmakers have also far too long given more credibility to constructed and jaded ideas. We search for art, we search for form without searching the essence of our stories. We find logic in commerce and disregard the free spirit of storytelling. We have to remind ourselves that truth is formless, only untruths have form. We as film fraternity have to be truer to ourselves and hence to the stories we set out to tell. So I request all my critics friends here, please don't be like us Bollywood film stars and get carried away by what Bollywood succumbed to many years ago, the star system. The star system cannot be the only way of summing up films by a critic. 3 stars, 3.5 stars, 3.25 stars, 5 stars. It's a film, it's not a hotel, for God's sake. With the advent of homegrown critics sprouting all over, film critique is becoming an endangered species. Please let it not perish to be replaced by a consumer service that has no brains and all thumbs.
To that. And the second thing is that a lot of people don't read reviews after a while if you've just rated the film. So it really
uh
removes their work from that. So I'm also a little
Fair.
I'm on the fence about reviewing because I enjoy giving 5 stars to a great movie. It's like it feels like something is released from me and I feel powerful. But
Yeah.
I also get the other argument, which is that there are some movies that you can't really rate and you can't really quantify because there are so many things that are going on. And like, especially in some movies where scenes are great, but the whole movie is not. That's a movie where I get really confused as to how to rate this. Like a movie like Babylon,
Mm.
the scenes are outstanding. But if I look at the whole movie, I was kind of bored with it. So I know as a letterbox user, I'll put it in the 3 star category, but there are some scenes which are really hitting it out of the park. So yeah,
Mm. Average has gone down because of that.
the average has
Yeah.
gone down, or maybe you can't really quantify it that well.
Fair enough. I get the other argument as well. Because in I mean in attention economy and like just people forming a certain judgment when they see that star or a quantified aspect to the
Hmm.
review, they
Hmm.
might just be put off. But there's I mean you can't box it in just those many stars. A
Hmm.
movie sometimes with like a Babylon or like other it's like outliers, you never know what will stick with you, what will work for you. It can be subjective. So yeah, actually like that it's kind of being eliminated.
Hmm.
I'm more of a ratings person, but I see this. I see why it's happening. I kind of like it too. Yeah.
Yeah. The- There's something I've been thinking about off late, which is the fact that, especially when it comes to movies, since it's a mass what do you say, working man's art form in a way. Like the whole idea of a movie is that anyone can go and watch a film. uh, I think that we have pushed this argument that movies are subjective, सबका अपना अपना opinion होता है. But I have started to think that maybe there is a particular type of great movie, and it is okay to say that this movie is great and this movie is not great. There is a form to
Hmm.
it, but this sort of argument tends to disregard that particular form because maybe we want to be empathetic to people who don't have that taste. But at the same time, when we are talking about cinema, film discourse, we're talking about just the particulars of the film, and that kind of goes away. This is what I feel when we have because सबका अपना argument होता है वो तो हर चीज में we can really say. But there
Yeah,
is a craft. There are people who are thinking about certain things or thinking about communicating very specific things. If I don't get it, that's kind of on me.
for sure. I mean, I do think like it's because of social media, like all of these mini echo chambers. Earlier, it used to be like broader discourses.
Hmm.
अच्छा लगा, नहीं लगा. Yes, no, maybe. Those
Hmm.
three categories.
Hmm.
Now everyone is trying to be nuanced, and with the movie cinema community, with people like us, if I can say that, we like to sort of delve deep and like really break things down, no doubt on certain movies, especially like
Hmm.
from directors or people that we have liked
Hmm.
before.
Hmm.
So everyone's that subjectiveness, I think, is becoming uh more loud because of social media only. Like
Hmm.
if I were having a conversation with five of my friends about a movie like um let's pick Sorry Baby, because we are going to get to that next, and we're going to talk about that as well. um there wouldn't be too much discourse. It'll not be कि अरे ये nuance आपसे छूट गया, but this implied this and that's what it meant and this is what कवि क्या कहना चाहते हैं type. इतना over analyzing we don't really do. And some movies are just very like easy wins, and
Hmm.
that's, I feel like, in today's world, in today's like all the content ecosystem, it's a great thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, just overly nitpicking something कि अरे ये आर्ट थोड़ा ज्यादा ओवर एनालाइज कर लो, it
Hmm.
becomes it's almost like a disservice to it.
It's just a movie. It's like relax. I don't play that precious nonsense. Oh, a movie, oh, get out of here. Making a movie is a luxury. It's a gift. It's an opportunity, and most importantly, it's a gift. Obviously, everybody here is talented enough to do that, but don't get it twisted. It's just a movie. It ain't that big a deal.
You know?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
when nitpicking goes out of what the movie was trying to say, it gets a little ridiculous. Like, I think whenever we start
exactly.
as
It
film
gets very
fans,
absurdist.
yeah, we always like to see, अरे ये shot का मतलब क्या है, and all of this. And I think that's why film people or film people like us, we get like a bad rep कि ये लोग बहुत ज़्यादा deep जा रहे हैं, because we're trying to maybe alienate people from the movie. But I've also realized that it's okay to talk about these things, and it's not the
It
worst
is.
thing
It totally
to
is.
to
Yeah.
like if people don't want to engage with it. And like what I've realized is that most people watch a movie as a way to escape things, and that's totally fine. But there are some people who don't, and there's some people who really are interested in the craft or are interested in what that particular human is trying to say. And I think that's an
How it makes
argument
them
that,
think, how
yeah.
it makes them feel, etc.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And I think that is something that we're losing a little bit because it's become uncool to like a movie. Or like if I was talking about Sorry Baby, the review especially that I put out, most people just said that, bro, just don't go that deep, man. We're not really thinking about this. And it's their version of saying that don't take my experience away from me. I
Hmm.
had a particular happy experience with it, and now you've given me these details and I'm suddenly out of it, so I don't like it. And I get that, but we're also like talking about a particular thing, and I think it matters.
For sure. So talking about Sorry Baby, like how did you like it? How did you feel about that movie? By the way,
Well,
for context, this was a movie I recommended to Karan. I had watched it like a couple of days before I recommended him
Yeah.
This and yeah, he then like I think during that time just watched it and like put out the review
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
still
So yeah.
playing in theaters for people who want to check it out. I wanted to really like the movie because I'm a sucker for this particular genre of film, which is that coming of
Mm.
age, quirky, slightly absurdist, uh, restrained language, and writer director especially. So I got into the movie really wanting to like it, and I think it opened very well. It opened with a particular aesthetic that I really enjoy. But as I think the movie progressed, it what I took away from the movie was that it was a really good vessel for the audience to get introduced to a talent like Eva Victor, and that it does amazingly well. But as a film, as something that like as a whole, I didn't really think that it could hit the notes that the director was trying to hit. Especially, I thought that Eva Victor is a really talented writer, an exceptionally
Mm.
talented dialogue writer. But when it comes to using the camera to propagate that particular emotion and scene, I felt that many scenes, especially the scenes which are supposed to hit the quirk button or the slightly more potent button, I think the narrative was a bit lost. And I think I really felt that I was wanting more from it, especially given such a talented
Mm.
cast with Lucas Hedges and John Carroll Lynch, who's done a supremely wonderful part in a very short scene. And I think that the movie was, of course, good as a showcase for her, but I think only she and a couple of actors really got the tone and the pitch of the script. I don't think that, especially the characters played by her, like who played her best friend, Lydia. I don't know the actor's name.
Mhm.
She was exceptionally off. You know, in this particular movie, I thought that uh, there were many pieces that could use some tone matching, and I think that that's
Do
something
you
that took
think
me
that
out
was
of the movie.
intentional? Do you think that was intentional? Her best friend being a little off or like away from like misaligned to the tone, I guess.
I I think
Like
it was a
so it's almost as if these two women are really close friends. They've been to grad school together,
hmm.
but like what Agnes went through, Lydia could never relate with. So there was a mismatch there.
Hmm. But I felt so just for context, something really terrible happens to Agnes in this movie. So the movie is like a before and after kind of a thing.
Oh my god! I made it!
Do you miss me, even though you're married?
So grown up.
It's so grown up.
School was like, oh, grad school was, oh.
I like it here, though.
Are you sure?
What are you up to this fine evening?
I was wondering, do you have like stuff that makes a fire?
Why do you need it?
My friends and I were gonna make like hot dogs.
Hot dog sounds good.
I'm sorry, we only bought 2 hot dogs.
That's a lot, right? Still being here.
Oh, it's a lot to be wherever.
Something pretty bad happened to me.
Did it just happen?
No, it was a little over 3 years ago.
Well, that's not that much time.
But even in the scenes before what we know is going to happen, I didn't think that there was a tone match, especially if you take the first scene where Lydia and Agnes, they meet for the first time, they have a little bit of an encounter, then they go for a walk in the park. I felt like the other actress was playing a very different movie, playing in a very different movie. She was like uh, in a different space, let's just put it that way.
I hear you. Yeah. I think I echo with what you're saying, that I was expecting more from the movie. But at the same time, I think what Eva Victor was trying to say, she said it well. I was not expecting to get that sad or uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad. I don't actually mind that it wasn't that.
Hmm.
Usually, I like to get into movies cold. I try not to watch trailers.
Hmm.
And yeah, in this case also, I was left feeling thoda mixed
Hmm.
in terms of how the movie was for me. I think a lot of like what you're saying in terms of direction, in terms of tone, in terms of like the technicalities. But I think it was a very interesting story. And then the way she
Hmm.
said it also, the non-linear part, the exposition, all of that was actually quite nice. Yeah.
What were your expectations before going into the film?
Genuinely, the poster was a bait, and I think they did that on purpose.
It's a great bait.
It's a
Lady and
great,
cat.
very intentional. Yeah, it was a great bait. But it also played a part in the story, which was lovely. But yeah, that's the intention I went into the movie with. Lydia's going through something not as drastic as what she had, and we're not going to talk about it because we A, don't want to spoil, B, like just trigger warning. But I thought it was about a woman rescuing a cat and more of like an indie comedy drama around their relationship, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought the baby was the cat. You know, when I saw the poster for the first time.
Yes.
So I was like, yeah.
that was intentional, I'm telling you.
Yeah, that
And
was
I
intentional.
like the monologue in the end as well. What she says to the baby. I think we all feel
She
it. A lot
traumatized
of
the baby.
no.
I mean, that's
I
what I
guess
felt.
a lot of maybe a lot of women might relate to what she was saying to the baby. Motherly, maternal, auntie instinct of, hey, you're here in this world. The world might not be always that great, but you're here, and you know what? It's fine. It's yeah, she was almost talking to herself. So
But what I also thought that it's suffering from the A24 syndrome of, you know, having an indie done in a particular way. The
the A24 template, you mean?
The company was founded on two sort of basic creative principles. The first was that they were going to give directors almost unprecedented creative freedom. And then to pay for that, because that is creatively risky, they basically decided that they weren't going to be spending money on traditional forms of marketing. They were going to try and use viral marketing and word of mouth, these cheaper ways of gaining attention to their movies.
The framework.
The framework, or I don't know. I think that before going into an A24 movie, I'm already expecting a certain kind of an independent film, and that expectation is something that is played on through the posters, through whatever marketing that reaches us, even though we like discard trailers and whatever other things that they use, and I think that a lot of tonal problems are because of it being this A24 template movie as well. We've also reached the phase where the Frances Ha type indie has graduated into a cat mom now. And I think we're going to see more of this. More of this particular.
That will be interesting. Seated for some. Speaking of theaters and speaking of like, I mean, we've talked about Sorry Baby, which is, Sundance and whatnot. It's made some noise. It's got some accolades. What have you been watching in the local scene so far? What have your recent watches been?
So one thing I've been excited about is the fact that regular movie going to the theaters has just become the norm now. I think after COVID, there were a couple of dull years where you couldn't see people in the theaters, and it used to be probably me just in the movie. Especially for movies like Materialist, Sorry Baby, where audiences were really not coming in. So I'm happy about the fact that there are audiences in the theater and you can enjoy this experience. So I watched a lot of films in the theater. I watched F1, which I think was just Brad Pitt's character from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood driving a fast car. There was nothing else that I could find from it.
Isn't that all Brad Pitt movies?
Yeah, he has that smirk thing that going on, and I think that's just the whole movie, and it works. It works. He's very cool, so yeah, good for him. But F1 again, a bit of a cash grab because of the whole F1 fandom. All F1 bros are a thing now, so I think they wanted to cash in on that genre. So it works for that. I'm not really cued on to the whole F1C, so I don't know how technically well it's doing, but I enjoyed the film. I thought it was a good IMAX watch, one time watch, good scenes. But I've become a fan of this the screenings that have been hosted at Regal of late by the Film Heritage Foundation. They're hosting screenings since a couple of months now, and they're playing all these ridiculously beautiful classics. Like they recently, last month was a Hitchcock retrospective. So they played Rear Window, Psycho, Vertigo, North by Northwest. This month is going to be a James Dean retrospective. I've not watched a lot of James Dean movies. So this week is going to be Giant. Sorry, the next week is going to be Giant, Rebel Without a Cause, East of Eden, all of these films. And
wow.
yeah, there was I think a couple of months ago, they were doing some Dev Anand movies as well, like the CID, Taxi Driver, and all of this. I've not watched these films, but I did go for the Hitchcock retrospectives, and I really, really enjoyed it because I've never seen a Hitchcock movie on a big screen, and it's
Mhm.
really you get to know how some movies are designed for a big screen experience.
Well, anything that you can involve an audience so close is much better than seeing it from a distance. I think there's nothing more boring than a barroom brawl in a Western. What do? Break up a lot of furniture and a lot of bottles on the shelf.
Right.
But if you took the audience right in and got an impression of a face, a hand, an arm, and feet and everything, you'd involve the audience much closer with it.
Like the way in Psycho, sound is cued at a particular moment. You gasp with the audience when something happens. And Hitchcock, shitty human being, but he knows his shit when it comes to this. He knows how to tone and how to really have the audience at the edge of their seats. So Psycho was something that I really, really enjoyed. Uh, and then I went for the screening of Vertigo. And Vertigo is a movie which I had mixed feelings about because it's a movie so it's a movie where you have to know about the director in order to enjoy the movie a little bit more. Like there's a bit of context outside the movie as well. So Vertigo is about this guy getting obsessed with one girl, and he
Mhm.
tries to shape that girl into his reality of whatever a girl should be. And it's essentially like a cue on what Hitchcock also used to do with his actresses, which is that they have to be icy blonde, they have to act and walk a certain way, and they speak a certain way. So it's you really need to have that context. But when I watched Vertigo this time, I thought that San Francisco has never been shot this way on a film. And when you see it on that big screen, it's a totally different feeling. And it's a totally different feeling getting that sound. And James Stewart's performance also, which Alfred Hitchcock famously said that he was too old for the part, it works. It works beautifully well.
On a big screen at the Capitol Theater in New York with my friends who were 15 years old. And even though the film was not received well at the time, we responded to the film very strongly. Didn't know why. Couldn't really tell why. Couldn't tell what was happening. But we really went with the picture and remembered it. And it took years for us to see it again. But there's a sequence in that film where he's just following, Jimmy Stewart's following Kim Novak in her car. And it's just shot after shot of him driving. It's how he's composed in the center of the frame, how she's composed. It's the serenity of the camera positions.
And I enjoyed Vertigo. So I'm looking forward to more and more screenings of the Film Heritage Foundation. I think they're going to continue this. I'm still surprised that it's free for all. So anyone who's in Bombay at Regal can just come in. And
I
think
was really surprised by the fact that it was free for all. Like that, shout out to Regal and Film Heritage for doing that because, yeah, people need to go and watch these movies and actually understand that there is a world beyond Netflix and Prime Video and Hotstar and whatnot. Like this is, as Mr. Scorsese has said, this is cinema. It's all about trend cycles, isn't it? Like, sorry to cut you there, but like I'm thinking like it's all about trend cycles where now in an age of like niche building, having some sort of, niche and specific and building your audience or whatever in that space. You have something like Psycho, which everyone likes as a movie, even if you don't watch horror like me. It's a great movie. And then like these things keep happening in like cyclical phases. There was a time, yeah, like 21, 22, no one was going to the theater, and for good reason. Now people are. Maybe there'll be a drought of like good content later in the future where again people might not go. Who knows? But like these things keep changing, which is great. And I think the one change that I've seen, and both of us, Karan and I, were talking about this, is something more close to home that came out, the movie Saiyaara,
Yeah.
and how like the era of toxic alpha male is kind of being sidelined.
I
It won't
hope.
ever go away. We hope, and it maybe it won't ever go away, unfortunately, but it's kind of now on the back burner with the way that this movie has performed. I don't have the numbers, Karan. If you do, like you can, share those, but it's just no one heard about it. There was on in purpose very little marketing done. They put it in the theaters. They did like great distribution for that, multiple like screenings, etc. And it's done wonderful numbers.
That's a wonderful news.
Why do you think that that's been happening? I have a thought there, but like what according to you has made Saiyaara such a big success?
So Saiyaara was probably the last movie I was excited about. I didn't really care for they barely done any marketing. Mohit Suri didn't have a couple of good movies since. I think the last movie that I liked of Mohit Suri was Ek Villain, and that's 2014, right? So it's been 11 years since he's really delivered. So I really had zero expectations. It's only when the discourse really caught up, I was like, maybe I need to check it out because everyone is raving about the music, and on ground, people really liked the movie. I think reels played a huge part in this. That I saw so many reels of people crying, and I thought, okay, man, I don't mind watching a Yash Raj romantic movie. It's been a very long time. So I thought I'll go for it. I went for it, and the movie is like a one of those Nicholas Sparks kind of movies. Like A Walk to Remember is something very similar in terms of tone. It's like the brash boy and the sweet girl, and the sweet girl is kind of going through something, and then all of that. So it works in that context if you want to enjoy it. By theory of why, so as a film, it doesn't fully hit. The music still doesn't work for me. Not like other romantic films. Like I think the last romantic film that worked for me
Mohit
was
Suri's past movies have Mohit Suri's past movies have had much better music. I agree with you on that.
much better music. I mean, even Ek Villain's album is fantastic. I feel on a whole it did work for me, but I could see why people were enjoying it because after a very long time, it's like they take the alpha male character stereotype and they put him in a situation where he can cry. And it was just like what I saw in the theater was some form of catharsis that was happening in the movie. That people are just sitting and they're like, okay, fine, I drove a bike all day, now I'm going to sit and cry, you know. And I think for that audience, it's working really well. And I
And
think
this is
that the
across
leads.
cities. So like I like a few of my friends watched it in
Hmm.
Bangalore, and like Karan watched it in Bombay.
Hmm.
It's been kind of similar everywhere. Like there have been men who have got like, if not crying, they've gotten emotional. It's, you can see, if you're noticing, even in the dark, you see it's impacted them. They're getting like a little teary-eyed or like a little. And I think Karan went to this theater where there was like a line full of boys sitting in the front, and they were like laughing and
Some
giggling
were
in the beginning, like
wailing.
early 20s. Yeah, they were wailing towards the end. I was like, okay. And I think this kind of word of mouth made me want to watch Saiyaara as well. I think in a lot of ways, this Nicholas Sparks tempo, kind of story, and the dream or the hope that you're selling as well to people who are watching it. It kind of hits. I think there has been a demand. It's just like with movies like Animal and Arjun Reddy, it's just never been met. And they were trying to like feed a certain archetype and a certain thought for all these years. I think now it's a fatigue of just that opinion and that thought and those kind of relationships. Now we're sort of getting back to more like Okay.
If we were having this conversation 2 months ago, it would be very different.
Yes.
And just the last few weeks have changed so much of that. I do want to ask you about Saiyaara. You know, this, I know it's still very recent, but there are so many narratives being thrown around as to why, you know, the post-mortem, as to why it's doing so well. I'm a big fan of the film. I thought it's Hindi cinema doubling down on what we do well.
Yeah.
But, you know, some people say that it's the return of love story. Some people say it's the return of Hindi film music. Some people say it's sort of two exciting newcomers. You know, people talk about the marketing of it and how that was distinctive. What do you think is the right lesson to take away from the massive success of this film?
I think there was a gaping hole for a film like this, which we didn't see coming.
Okay.
Like there was, like, you know how you were rooting, as I remember when I was 8 or 9 years old and I saw Love Story in the cinema hall about 18 times. Like I went and Kumar Gaurav and Vijayata Pandit and the music of Love Story became my Walkman, like craziness. Like all I did was listen. Then Betab came. You know, and then I went crazy. Then Ek Duje Ke Liye came. And I remember like every couple of years, there was this one big love story with new actors that you were like, that were your teen idols, that you wanted to crush on, love on, put posters up on, like, you know, like literally visit the cinema time and again to watch, because you didn't know anything about them. You had no idea where they came from. You didn't know, you know, which gym they went to, or which, like, you know, which restaurant they were coming out of in Bandra, or which airport and why. Like, you don't know anything about. And there was a gaping hole of two people you don't know anything about. Musical energy, love story, and people you can actually idolize, with especially the Gen Z audiences, like, you know, the younger audiences. I think there was a gaping hole, and the signs were already there. You saw it when Sanam Teri Kasam had a re-release, that intense, angsty love story. And one thing you have to know, Suchin, is that we think this is a Tinder swiping generation. We think this is a frivolous generation. Actually, this generation are intense lovers.
Interesting.
They are all intense lovers. They fall in love deeply. They don't rise in love. They all fall in love.
With me, I think for Saiyaara, like I was thinking like how our generation never had like an Arjun Reddy type character. Like for us, it was more of like Imran Khan, Ranbir Kapoor. Like these were our rom-com or even like you know, love story archetypes. You'd never like think that even Ranbir Kapoor in that Bachna Hai Hasino movie where he was, you know, a full player would ever do like questionable things. And my biggest gripe with like these alpha movies has been that it's always at an angle of in defense of this character, you know. That questionable gray guy has gotten like so much main character energy, given so much main character energy. And I feel like, at least as a girl, I was kind of sick of reality is bad enough as it is, you know. Like every day you hear like weird, like bad stories. In the theater with a movie like Saiyaara it gives you a little bit of hope, you know, like, okay, the world maybe is not like 100% bad. There's some sliver of good, nice, sweet hope, you know, just hope. And second, it was just comforting. So you want to call it escapism, you want to call it whatever. I guess it did that very, very well. And yeah, you just want to sometimes sit in your feelings and not like, you know, be all aggressive and like you go on like 10 rebounds and like have that kind of a life. So yeah, this movie did that quite well. I think they dropped it also on purpose. Like there was no in anticipation of, so that people wouldn't form any preconceived notions, wouldn't have any biases. You just went in like, if you are a romantic at heart, you went in, you gave that movie a shot, and the word of mouth did everything after that. And yeah, I mean, of course, it was like to its lane. I think it did a good job. Also, it was a decently nice movie. So yeah.
I think why I was happy about Saiyaara was also this is that romance is back, and I think we lived an extended period where it was more about the euphoria kind of a relationship. Like everyone was kind of being that Nate and Maddie type of zone.
It's
And
just
I think I'm happy to be out
dysfunctional,
of that.
completely dysfunctional, very
Yeah.
toxic. It was almost like life, art imitating life. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it was just like these stories, like everywhere I went from people, I would just hear negative, bad incidents. Nothing nice. So yeah, so Saiyaara
Yeah.
that way feels like a breath of fresh air. There's another interesting genre that Aamir Khan brought back, right? It's the
The feel
genre,
good.
the feel good with kids, kids being the underdogs, and that very age old but like a very solid heartwarming story of like the underdogs doing well. Yeah, Sitare Zameen Par, I think how well did it do on the box office? I'm not too sure of its performance, but I'm very intrigued by what Amir Khan is doing in terms of streaming right now. For this movie,
Yeah.
for all of his movies, I think that model is interesting. Yeah.
It's very interesting how this model or the flaws in the like the streaming model is being communicated by him also, because it has been like a consistent effort even pre-release to show the gaps that the streaming models has and how it's harming individual films. And Sitare Zameen Par is actually a movie which should not do well as per the trends, because there's nothing much. It's a simple story. It's kind of like a Disney movie, some underdogs, but because there is a brand attached to it, people go for it. But what I was interested in is the consistent effort to break down the fact that when you are paying for a streaming subscription, you're not paying for cinema. You're paying a particular platform, you're paying for technology, and that does not necessarily means better films. And that argument morphing into this VOD platform that Aamir Khan has started is something I'm very interested in as a film fan. Because what I've received as an audience is the fact that when OTT came in, there was a lot of money with which the platforms came in. So there were a lot of scripts that were not getting greenlit. Good scripts written down by Anurag Kashyap, Motwane, all of these people. So they got greenlit, and we built trust on these platforms that, okay, इस पे sacred games है, पाताल लोक है, मैं देखूंगा. But after a while, they decided to make it into a churn thing that you have to churn X amount of scripts every year. The quality instantly went down because there is so much to produce. So suddenly we are just the creators became a slave to the algorithm or to whatever the demands usually were there of the market. And that's something that they face anyways in the theatrical business. So it's not really liberating them. And secondly, money is not directly flowing from a particular user making a choice about a film to that film, right? It's like if I pay 700 to Netflix and I watch Irishman 15 times, I don't think it's really going to Scorsese. It's like probably I have to trust कि टेड भाई कुछ अच्छा प्रोड्यूस कर लेगा कभी तो, and ये मेरे पैसे ले लो तुम अभी के लिए. But now we have reached this stage, I feel, which is that पहले बहुत content था, बहुत information था, वो भी produce हो गया. अभी उसके बाद there are people who say that, okay, there's too much information, let me curate it for you. This is what movie did. But now there's a fatigue with that model as well, and now the user has enough information to make a choice. So they will say that I will buy one movie. I will watch one movie tonight, and that's the only thing that I'm going to watch. So I'm very positive about this particular move because of that, because as a person who enjoys movies, I would like to have certain movies in my library accessible at any time, and I don't want it to be taken down from one platform to another, and I don't want to pay so many platforms at the same
Yeah,
time. Because I'm not really...
It's a big pain point now that's coming up, especially with Prime putting these unnecessary paywalls. Like they'll show that the movie is on Prime and then you have to pay. Yeah, there are ads, you have to pay for it. I mean, yeah, all of that. And I think you brought a very interesting point of trust, right? Most streaming services, or any company for that matter, like with these big conglomerates, they'll lure you in. They'll build a trust, that kind of loyalty. And then it all becomes about keeping you there, retaining you by hook or by crook.
One thing we sometimes don't talk about with some of these bigger streaming platforms is that you know, it's a different business model. It's not necessarily about making money back. It's about brand. They're building their brand. And when you're an established filmmaker, you are a brand that they want to partner with to help build their own brand. But with newer filmmakers, newer voices, you don't have a brand. You need to build that brand. And I know now, because our film has been in the theaters for 4 months. You know, for a film that's 75, 80% in Mandarin subtitled, but is an American film, you know, to even first of all get that finance, but then to have that play as an American film, 100% Asian American cast, to be seen as an American story, and play in theaters for 4 months, and then for me to be at this table, I know for a fact that if I took that bigger, you know, the bigger money, that they wouldn't have the energy to put behind someone like me to build my brand.
There needs to be some friction.
Yeah.
Like even for an enjoyable experience, if you feel like you've put some effort for it, even if it's, let's say, not that great a movie, slightly shitty movie, you'll still enjoy watching it, right?
Yeah.
If at home you get it very conveniently, even a movie like Titanic or like any great movie that we can think of, it'll feel like कि हाँ ये तो चाय कम पानी है. You know, you buy a ticket, you go. I mean, I feel like that's why some of the recent Wes Anderson movies also I wasn't really into. A, sure, maybe they weren't as strong. I'll take that. But also B, they like dropped out of nowhere. These like 4 short movies. Like I woke up one day, they're there. I can watch it if I want to, not watch it if I don't want to. The choice is, it's too much agency. It's like over agency. Versus when I went to watch the Phoenician Scheme, I bought a ticket, I took a metro, I, you know, waited for 10 minutes for the movie to start. I went in, there was some anticipation building, and then the movie came on. Luckily, it was made well. What an experience, right? The payoff is so nice, emotionally as well, that you're like, okay, maybe this is also a channel and a way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel this removes the shitty nuance argument that we're having, because it's like, oh, maybe the movie is good for you, bad for you. Now, if you buy a ticket, you're gonna say the movie's bad if it's bad. You're gonna say the movie is good if it's good. You know,
It's getting a person at
you
that
get to have an
point.
opinion.
Yeah, and it's getting a person
Yeah.
at that point where they decide, chalo, I'll buy it. You know, that flip, I don't know if a Netflix like company is interested in doing. So yeah.
Traditionally, all cinema goers, doesn't matter which part of the world they're in. And in India, cinema has been there for over 100 years.
Yeah.
We always watch films pay-per-view.
Yeah.
We go to the theater, we pay once, and we watch the film once. So pay-per-view is a model. That's how we watch films. ऐसे ही तो हम लोग फिल्में देखते हैं. हम एक दफा जाते हैं थिएटर, एक दफा पैसे देते हैं, एक दफा देखते हैं. हमको दोबारा देखनी है फिल्म तो हम दोबारा जाके पैसे देते हैं, दोबारा देखते हैं. ये पेपर-व्यू मॉडल कहलाता है. तो that is a model how we watch films. So I want to take that same model onto a digital platform. Of course, the price would be different. On a digital platform, my purpose is to reach as many people as possible.
Awesome. Correct.
So one, the reach is important, and YouTube gives me that reach. Internet penetration gives me that reach. And the pricing is important because I want my film to be watched by, this was called a mass medium at one time. But I feel that over the years, the working class will find it very difficult to watch a film of their choice, to go with their family to a theater. It's getting more and more expensive for them to do that. So I wanted to reach, the working class, the mass of India. I want them to see my films, and I want it to reach them at their convenience and at a price point that is good for them, that is appealing to them.
Right. Because you have to scale and growth and etc. etc. Which is also why, like a side note, I'm very, very intrigued and mildly disappointed that Sequoia has invested in Mubi. I think it's Sequoia, right?
It's Sequoia was invested in Mubi.
Yeah, I was not, like, of all the funds out there, I was not expecting this. It's we'll see what happens. I mean, I would never wish that for Mubi. It's a great platform, and
Yeah.
it started with a great vision as well. Unlike other streaming services, this one had like, something. It was for like indie movie lovers, a place that they could go, etc. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. So yeah, that was a very interesting move, and I was like, whoa, okay, did not see this coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this take where you pay X number of rupees, you download that movie, it stays with you forever, um, is risky, but it initially will work very well because let's say as a producer, as a filmmaker, or even as an actor, actress, if you're known to have a good reputation of putting out a good work, or like people like your work, you have that credibility, then for the next movie people will chime in. But if it doesn't work well, then word of mouth is like everything for you. If word of mouth doesn't work, you're kind of done, then that model is dead, right? So it's same thing with Aamir Khan. I only bring him up specifically because of how Lal Singh Chaddha did. Now, in the way that it was interpreted for Indian audience, I think it did a very good job. I genuinely feel like, and Aamir Khan says this himself, I think he's admitted to this in an interview, where he's like, he should not have played that character. He was probably not the right choice. The kid who played the Chotu Lal Singh Chaddha was so good. He was so good. And then yeah, enter Aamir Khan, and then it kind of loses me.
तो ये फिल्म एक्चुअली मेन स्ट्रीम फिल्म वैसे भी नहीं है, लेकिन ओरिजिनल बहुत चली थी, काफी चली थी, और उसकी एक वजह थी कि जो टॉम हैंक्स ने परफॉर्मेंस दिया था ना, वो इतना कमाल का था कि ये तीनों चीजें आप भूल जाते हैं. टॉम हैंक्स ने आपको एक जर्नी पे ले गया वो, और उसने इतना स्मूथ परफॉर्मेंस दिया, इतना आपका दिल जीत लेता है वो आदमी, और फिर आपको बोर ही नहीं होता, आप बोलते हो कि जहां तुमको ले जाना है हम तुम्हारे साथ चलेंगे. वो मैं नहीं कर पाया. ये फर्क था फॉरेस्ट गंप में और लाल सिंह में.
The other thing is that I was just looking at all the production houses that have produced great films. Like if I take big franchise films like Star Wars, it's still backed by George Lucas. Most of the Steven Spielberg film is backed by his own production house. So they make billions of dollars. James Cameron still produces his own movies. All of these platforms are not really backed by creators. So there will be a certain point where there will be tonally a little off with respect to what kind of movies to produce, or what kind of things that they want to stand for with respect to cinema. Because I think that of course, they can do good with technology, and they can do good with curation, maybe, because the algorithm makes it easier. But deciding the tone of a particular movie, I'm not sure if Ted Sarandos has the same level of gut that Steven Spielberg does.
So, but why didn't this, at least maybe 4 or 5 years ago, when we used to talk about the OTTs coming in, there was a lot of hope, right?
There was a lot of hope and excitement. Yeah, but now the same people, it's like now what has happened is, who are the people running the OTT? People from television, they have no cinema experience. People from television have gone into OTT now. There's zero cinema experience. They don't understand cinema. And they've been told they only need to get, what is their primary motive for the streamers? Streamers' primary motive is not to create cinema. It's to get subscribers.
Yeah.
It's to increase subscriber base. And to increase subscriber base, they have to dumb it down.
Yeah, and I would on that note, like Avatar, I'll download it. Like once the first 2 movies that have
break
come
my
up,
heart. Okay.
I'll buy them. Like I'll actually buy them,
okay.
and I can I'll watch them.
And watch it at home.
Are you ticket? TV is big enough. It's fine. What to do? I'll get a projector, sure.
Yeah.
But I will download these. I'll buy these movies in a one-off case where if I have to pay $80, I might pay $80. Why not? And I think a lot of these streaming services have lost the plot. It all started with where CDs and Blu-rays were digitized. That's where Netflix sort of came in. It was meant to be this online digital archive of all like your movies that you'd have on your CD, which is why Blockbuster died. And then from that, they've, I don't know, gone completely somewhere else only. I mean, and now we're back to this like, it's actually back to what the model could have been in 2006, 2007, where you have these digital copies and you buy them one off or whatever,
Yeah.
like just like a CD or a Blu-ray. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Netflix has become more of a convenience factor now. I have no loyalty towards Netflix that I used to before. That I would wait for a Netflix show to come out. I don't think that's true anymore because when I open the app, there are games on the app also. There's a little bit of
It's so
everything.
cluttered. Oh my, there's so much happening. I don't want to look at it at all.
Yeah.
And it's not a
Yeah.
product design problem. It's not an anything problem. It's a business model problem. Simple. You're doing too much
Not a problem.
and you're like, we'll curate it. No, shut up. Don't over
Yeah.
curate it for me. Like these days, I don't browse Netflix. I haven't browsed it in over a month. I'll just maybe watch a show. I'll watch maybe a show that someone has recommended to me or like an older show. I'll just rewatch it. And it's the same case with a lot of my friends as well. And this could be anecdotal, but it's true in my world right now. So yeah, I kind of, even with Hotstar, all these other places, Prime to itni ads aati hai, I'm just put off. Hotstar, once in a while, I'll see some interesting, nice movie. I don't use it as often.
Yeah.
But Netflix is just like, there's WWE ka live screening happening. Uske niche there's video games. Uske niche there's like a whole, anime, a slew of animes curated just for you. Like Shanti, just like pipe down.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, right? I'm also upset with the fact that, Netflix has produced some really good films that I would probably pay money to go to in the theater for, like Happy Gil. Like I used to be a person who used to watch the Adam Sandler movies in the theater every year. I used to wait for it. So Happy Gilmore 2 being on Netflix is something that's really heartbreaking for me because
Yeah.
it's been so many years. We waited so long, and it's just something that you watch on the TV. I can't take it. I can't take the fact that Uncut Gems is also on Netflix. It's a big theater experience. It should have been released. At least have a limited release before, like we do in the US, but I don't think they do that in other countries. They just put it out. So I think they've robbed us of that experience of good films also.
No, but I totally agree. And I think it's become so risk averse. Okay, like whatever our algorithm is telling us, we'll only do just that to maintain the bottom line. I think folks like Aamir Khan, uh, who are taking a risk, and it's a public risk. He's done this also, I think, for a reason. If he fails, it's okay. But if it works, it's gonna flip how we consume, how people make movies, and how they distribute them as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
and I genuinely feel, I don't know who's running YouTube, but there are so many missed opportunities that YouTube can grab on when it comes to movies, music as well, but that's like a whole other conversation. Yeah, they could really become like one of the more interesting players when it comes to,
What do you think is a
streaming.
missed opportunity in terms of films?
Yeah, they don't really talk about it. First, there's like no buzz around the fact that you have a lot of these very nice, interesting movies on YouTube. Many of the times I go see, it's like pay $100 to watch some movie, and it's this very specific category, and I don't know how to quantify it, but it's a very specific category of like decently time pass. Okay, I'll even if my attention is more or less gone, I'll still sit through this movie, old or new. It's a very specific
So
category.
something you would pay for is not being converted by
Yeah,
YouTube.
exactly.
Hmm.
And they don't do a lot of buzz around it. Plus, I mean, what else can you do except like, let's say, you put the first 10 minutes of the movie for free. People watch it. If people like it, they pay for the rest of the movie. I mean, that's the one thing I can think of on the top of my head, but they've never actually proactively gone out there saying that we are in the movie streaming business. So if they
Yeah.
want to, they
Yeah.
kind of can.
Yeah.
And they could be, I mean, they could position it as like a digital blockbuster or what Netflix should have been like. That's the marketing right there, if they want to go
Yeah.
that route. Yeah.
Yeah, because easily the YouTube app can have a separate section for just movies.
Yeah.
So it makes it so easy, right?
People
But I
will
don't know
watch
why they
it
don't
on
do
their
it.
phones. Like people, like I I've not downloaded Netflix on my mobile phone, but everyone has a YouTube app.
Yeah.
Everybody does. You put this, I mean, the premium thing itself is so good कि तुम उसमें monthly 3 free movies डाल दो. वो तुमको, you choose which 3 movies you want to watch. But you can put like chalo one, if I'm being too generous, 1 free movie per month. If you get YouTube Premium, you don't get ads at all. So Prime is out the window. You have music, so that's great. And see, you have like all sorts of like YouTube videos true to its brand, and then movies as well. Like it's a whole big thing. And for the
And it's a good
price,
app.
it's a good app. And for the price, like hell yeah, why not?
Yeah. 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 It's a missed opportunity. But
Yeah.
maybe they will explore it.
I
But I
don't know
think
who's
that
running YouTube, as I said, but please run it better.
please run it better. But like this VOD model, I think will benefit movies like Sorry Baby the most. Because Sorry Baby currently is released theatrically. What I saw is that it didn't sell a lot of tickets, and consumers like, say, you and me, working professionals, we don't have time, traffic issues, there are very few shows. We would want to pay for this movie. And we want to be part of the discourse at that particular time when it's released. So a VOD model in this case will benefit the creators also directly because slot to खाली जा रहे theater में वैसे भी.
And it can be a little dynamic in terms of pricing. Sorry for using that jargon. But let's say if a movie has a lot of appeal, let's say your Star Wars, okay, you price it a little higher as per the demand. I don't know how this will play. Maybe I've not thought this through, but like a movie like Sorry Baby, I will pay $50 to watch it. If I've heard from 3 different people in my circle or online, it's an interesting watch, it's a good watch, etc. I'll pay $50 में क्या इधर ऑटो नहीं जाता भाई टॉयट 50 रुपए
$50 is
में.
like 2 vada pavs, dude.
Yeah.
बेचारे 3 million का पैसा बनाया इसको 50.
And it could work
At
because
least 100.
I mean, okay, at least 100, sure. But and I think I don't know the mathematics between in this, but I think with this model, Aamir Khan is getting more money than he would have with Netflix. Um, I don't know.
He definitely got more people in the theater because he sold the fact that this is not going to be on streaming. You have
Yeah.
to come to the theater.
Yeah.
And then later we're going to do a digital release, maybe I think 3 months के बाद इसने किया. And
ये डांटना पड़ेगा audience
he's
को अभी.
marketing. डांट.
बच्चे हैं सब यार. Consumers
Kind of, that's what
बच्चे
we
हैं.
do.